Welcome back to another edition of Balls Deep. Today we have two guest stars. We have from Movie Buddies,
Andrew Beam,
and from the streets,
Colin Sargent.
And as always, I am Peter Tobin, and we have
I'm Brian Lawrence.
So today on Balls Deep, we're going to get balls deep into Fury Road. Now that sounds like a really bad porn, but please don't be mistaken. This was a great...
This was probably one of the best
Hey,
movies.
don't you know
movie.
Rule 36? If it's out there, there's a porn parody.
Oh, I'm sure that they're going to have Furry Road coming out sooner than you think.
Furry Road.
Oh, is that kind of...
Oh, right.
So this movie was awesome.
This was an epic warrior movie.
This was a
just
total grindhouse movie
Oh,
for like the modern era.
Certifiably fresh, man. Yeah, certified.
Like this was
Certifiably? Certified. I'm already drunk? Yeah. It's the bourbon.
certifiably fresh is what Mr. Beam is trying to say.
What he said.
Not certifiably fresh.
okay. So we got the plot of this movie, which, like all great action movies, is very, very simple.
Very cookie cutter on the plot.
The good guy runs this way, the bad guy chases you that way, and you know.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. We got this society that you got the few people at the top that control all the water and have all the women to make their little army babies, and you got one renegade woman who is going to get the women out and to safety, and you got the chase.
And don't forget, we also have the hero in the movie, Max
And our
himself.
hero, Max himself,
Yeah.
The,
grunting and all.
Grunting and all.
Grunting and all.
Not very many lines either. And the reveal at the end.
Well, I mean, Tom Hardy, we know he can act. We know,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, give him a mask and he's incredible.
We know, like Bronson is
Bronson
like one of our
was-
favorite
Oh,
movies
dude,
Great movie.
that's a movie right there. That's
ever, and he's
That's
awesome
like-
in this.
I think
But
Bronson was actually based on my life.
you go to prison for robbing a bank.
do you enjoy getting the shit beat out of you?
Well, when I strip down naked and have like the guard, you know, like give
Oh,
me
butter yourself up.
myself up.
but like I was saying, it's you think like Die Hard, the plot is simple. You got
Oh,
John
yeah.
McClane in the
Be
building
good.
with the terrorists.
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 I
Be very, very quiet. I'm looking for terrorists.
that should be a parody. Elmer Fudd does Die Hard.
It's Die Hard. Probably the
This
same
is
actor.
usually why it's only Brian and myself
Yes,
doing the
this is
movie
going to
reviews.
shit real fast.
And is there
So anyway,
any bourbon involved?
focusing back again on the movie, Mad Max Fury Road. Tom Hardy was incredible with this character, even though he hardly had a line in the entire movie. His facial features, his grunts, his mannerisms, everything was just on par with that crazy actor that we've all come to love with Tom Hardy.
I mean, he's a guy who's been being kept as a tortured prisoner for God knows how long.
Yeah.
Like, he's obviously a little fucked up in the head.
Oh,
And-
very much
Oh,
so.
yeah.
And he's been on his own for God knows how long.
Yeah, who knows how long.
And then he gets captured. Yeah, he's...
You think that they are gonna? So he had a lot of flashbacks of the little girl and all that fun stuff. Like, is that from the previous films, or is that gonna be like the next movie?
See, this is the thing that they've done with this movie is that it's not considered a remake. It's actually considered a sequel within a remake because they're going to be doing 3 more of these movies, and we've all seen the originals. We've seen Mad Max, we've seen Road Warrior, and then we've seen Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. That he mentions, I'm a road warrior, I was a cop. So they actually go back to the previous, writings, what it was. But seeing that little girl, they're redoing how his family was probably killed. It wasn't probably like the gang of bikers, chasing him down on the cement road. I think that was his daughter, but they're doing it a new direction, kind of, wanting to refresh the whole Mad Max franchise. Like I said, they're going to be doing 2 more films. Hopefully, please go see the movie.
Go see this movie. Give it money.
Please,
We need more R-rated, big budget movies out there.
R-rated movies.
That is one of our biggest things is that they slap a PG-13 on these movies thinking that everybody's going to go see it and love it when you're just killing the movie. There's so much potential to show a rated R. You don't have to have sex, gore, and language. It's just...
The content.
Oh, it's the content.
Because it isn't really a violent movie. Like, the amount of, like, blood in it is pretty minimal.
Yeah.
The amount of blood, yeah, but there's a lot of violence, and I think
yeah.
That's definitely what takes it up to a rated R.
But I was surprised by, like, they kept it very subdued.
Yeah.
Like, there's little nudity in it. There's
very, very little
No
nudity.
nipples poking out there.
I mean, the only real nudity was
the woman on top of the
yeah,
tower.
but that was so out of focus that you could barely see it.
I focused in.
He is also married, which is why.
Going back to the plot form of these action movies, that you have a good guy, you have a bad guy, and there's the 3 stages to the beginning, middle, and end. This movie threw all that shit out. This was all about action heroes, and you knew what you were getting yourself into when you watch this movie. There's not a single person in that fucking seat. Sorry the language, but it's part of it. That knew Mad Max and what is this going to be about. It's car chasings and it's people getting destroyed. And
this is just one chase.
One giant chasing.
This is like
with 2 parts.
I mean, but like this is like the movie is essentially a chase scene.
Yeah.
It's them trying to get these women to safety, and then realizing that they have to go back.
Yeah.
Basically. But it's like it's how to do an action sequence correctly.
Yeah.
And that there's a little story within that action sequence. There's like a beginning, middle, and end. You don't just have it going full blast for like 10 minutes, because after a few minutes you just become desensitized to it. You have to keep kind of adding on that next level of drama.
And did they do that? I mean, like the beginning part blew up. That right there.
I mean, at the beginning, it's like she's chasing, and then they're chasing after her, and then you have the other guys coming. So first they have to take out the other guys, and you have that sequence. And then once they take out the other guys, then they got to get to her, and then you have them trying to fight them off. So it's like you keep kind of adding a new twist, a new element to it, so that it keeps it fresh, and it keeps you engaged, and stops you from inevitably wanting to tune out after like a few minutes.
One thing that
Jupiter Ascending, you could have really used a hand. Sorry, Brian brings up great points in how to do a chase scene and how to do a sequence like that. And Jupiter Ascending, you fail.
George Miller, he's a mastermind.
Yes, George Miller, the original creator of this franchise.
And what did he direct before he did even more of these Mad Max films?
Happy Feet
1 and 2. Imagine that. A CGI movie about penguins dancing has a man directing a movie about car chases. So,
yes, but I loved a fucking epic job.
But I love that they brought him back, and he just did not lose any stride at all. I knew exactly what action movies were like missing. This is one of those few movies where, aside from a few like obvious scenes, I really couldn't tell what's CG and what's real.
Yeah.
Like just the blend of it.
Real quick for the fans out there that probably won't see it for a couple weeks to let the audiences die down. Do not waste your money on 3D. Do not. There was only really one scene, and it was at the very fucking end of the movie that would have made it quote unquote worth it. Fuck you. This asshole wanted us to go see it. None of us want to go see it.
They filmed it in 3D.
I'm sorry. I will not spend $15 fucking on a fucking ticket that actually should cost, 3D, I'll give you about maybe $9. Tickets nowadays are so fucking bloody expensive because they all want to make some fucking money.
Hey,
it's like,
you know what? Hollywood is a non-profit organization.
Hollywood can suck a big fucking dick.
Most of the action was real. It was real car, being destroyed.
Oh, when Tom Hardy's fucking strapped to the front of that. Fucking,
just the look on his face. I
don't think that was acting.
No, I bet you anything. I bet you.
That's why he was pissed.
I bet you dollars to donuts. He sat there and he was like, you know what? Fuck it, let's do it. It's he's probably a fucking.
Method actor.
Thank you, method actor, and so he's probably strapped me to the fucking.
Oh, we know from Bronson that he will fucking.
I mean, just and as we always put at the beginning of our episodes, spoiler alerts here. But he's strapped to that. I mean, we've all seen it in the commercials too. But he's strapped to the front of that car, and he's like, and then they see the giant fucking storm cloud coming out, and he's just like, fuck! And when they're throwing the spear bombs, and he's like, "That was my fucking head!"
The enemies, or I don't know what their group
the clans.
is called.
Yeah, they were called like
the clans. It's like they weren't just mindless bad guys. It's like they actually gave them like a culture.
Yeah,
and like a code
with
of
three
conduct.
3 very distinct locations that were kind of forming a tribe, if you will. And then at the Citadel, they had different castes of people. So you had like the beggars and the peons and peasants down, at the base of the mountains, and then you had the Half-Life boys or the War Boys or whatever they were.
War Boys. Yeah.
War Boys, and they were like all painted white and black eyes and ready to die. And what I loved, they were using Nordic beliefs for their basically for the power over the people. If you die for me, you will go to Valhalla, and I will carry you, Immortal Joe. I will carry your soul
and like kind of
across
like
the gates.
reincarnation,
Yeah.
something like I'll be born again is
Yeah.
something. It's like he gave them an entire like culture and belief
And-
system.
I mean, what was the Book of Eli? It's just manipulating through religion. I thought that was a good note right there. But then with the two other towns, like you were saying, they weren't mindless. You had what was
oil
it?
people?
Oh, the gasoline town.
And then the
Guzzling is what they called it. I love that they called it Guzzling. And then they had Bullet Town. And all three of these towns came together to track down Immortal Joe's wives.
See, but what was the whole deal though? Like, what do you think about him like wanting to breeders? He's got these special women, and clearly
They weren't sick.
they weren't sick.
They had no contaminants. I mean, when you watch the kids blowing the dust or whatever it is onto his back, and they put his like body armor on or whatever, you see like he's got pustules and shit. And then Nux had those boils or whatever on his neck.
So it's just clearly from the radiation from all the bombs and shit.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
fallout and everything.
Like-
Sorry, I'm using my cheat sheet here, but Nicholas Hoult, who played Nux in the movie,
Yes.
I thought he did. And for those of you who don't know who Nicholas Hoult is, he is Beast from the reboot X-Men series.
First Class.
First Class, as well as
Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past. Thank
Yeah.
you. He also did Warm Bodies for all of you little
Tweens out there.
fangirls out there. He's a great actor, and this I think somebody went up to him, like his agent went up to him and said, "Hey, there's this role coming out. I think you'd be great for it. You play this character. His name is Nux. He looks like this." And I bet you anything he went, "Hell yeah, let's fucking do this." He's gone from like that cute little like borderline Disney actor to I can do just about fucking anything, and he's proven it. I mean, with this, I barely recognized him at first. Like when he was getting all juiced up, using Tom Hardy's or Max's blood when he was getting
What was
all
that anyway? Was that like
Spray paint.
spray. It was silver spray paint.
Oh shit! I thought it was like some sort of like adrenaline thing.
I thought it was at first, but then I was like, no, that's definitely spray paint.
But
anyway,
anyway,
That too, yeah.
hallucinating.
Well, anyway. He does. I barely recognized him at first, but then once you get him out on the road, and he's all fucking amped up, and he's juiced up, and it's all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, that's him.
I
That's
completely
him.
forgot about Warm Bodies.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, oh my god, that was him.
Did you see his character do that transformation? Because when I watched the trailer and I watched the beginning of the movie, I thought he was going to be playing one of the typical villains who just ends up getting killed. But then you see an evolution of his character.
Oh, great!
And that was
evolution
made
of
it
his
even
character.
better. You're just like, okay, I can get on board with this, and I enjoyed it. I think he did just a fantastic job. So that even for these side actors, people who played the war criminals and just the beggars, every single person in this movie did a fantastic job. I don't think I have anybody negative to say. Even the weird guy with the giant foot that looked like it was made out of his ham sandwich.
Spoiler. So altogether, the movie everybody had heart going in this movie.
Oh.
Like everybody absolutely wanted to do this. So you could tell that's what kind of movie you're gonna go see because everybody wanted to do this and just put everything they had into it. So.
It's so often you, in the past 20, 30 years, 20 years really, with all these remakes and reboots, you have such a shitty job done. You have these actors that come out there with these scripts that are campy, and the acting is subpar at best. And in the early 2000s, we accepted that with
Tomb Raider.
with Tomb Raider, but more
Star Wars.
Spider-Man. And it just was like, wow, this is so terrible. Not saying that the Amazing Spider-Man was any better. I mean, it was a little bit in some areas.
Spider-Man 1 and 2 were...
Anyway, my point is,
I love James Franco.
there was so much potential for a lot of these movies in the past 20 years, and they just didn't hit the mark. But with this one, you got a great writing cast. You have the great cast. It's just an incredible cast. Really, really strong actors. And the effort that they put in with the CG and with the props and the explosions and
makeup and
the makeup.
Well, you know how long this production's been in, right?
Uh-uh.
Since like early 2000,
Yeah,
like
this
at least
has been
5
a
or 6
while.
years.
I mean, Tom Hardy had to drop out of Suicide Squad because of
That I did
filming
not
of
know.
this.
That's
Allegedly, that's what he says.
But see, that's incredible. That right there shows you the dedication.
Other standout star in this, Charlize Theron.
Oh
who
my
kicks
God.
so much ass.
One arm metal,
Yeah, the metal arm was awesome. She is just like every woman in this. Really, is just a total badass.
She actually shows, how a female lead, especially for someone who's as popular as Charlize Theron, that you could have someone in an action movie and it could actually almost lead. You could have her be the main character.
Oh, she's as much as the lead as Tom Hardy
yeah,
is.
she was half the lead right there. But I'm saying is that she portrayed a female lead where you're not damsel in distress. You're the person who's carrying Tom Hardy half the way through the movie, and
you're saving him
half the time. Yeah,
But I did like how they were able to equalize them so that they had him. He was not really technically the savior. He was just like this rogue guy that was just captured, but then it just became something. Like he's in the beginning, he's searching for something, a good thing. He's searching for it because that's how they're out there. They have nothing left. Their instinct is to survive, and he's searching for one thing, and that is to find something to fight for. And then when he comes along, Charlize Theron has already got everything she needs, and then they can just share in the ride. So
perfect counterpart. That's what he filled in for. Yeah.
Charlize, man, kudos to you, girl.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. You take a role and you own it and you make it work. And this movie,
Yeah, you could tell
Holy
she like
shit.
saw this character and was like, "I'm gonna make fucking something."
I love when they
Something
did
for girls to look up to and
Right?
be like,
I love the
yes,
whole-
I want to be that chick right there.
aside from all the action sequences that I loved, we all love the action sequences, especially with Charlize.
The movie basically is an action sequence.
Oh yeah, the whole damn movie. But when Max is finally in the cab and they're driving and she's like, right before they get to the canyon, and she's like, you might need to drive the truck here in a minute, and she reaches down and she grabs the grease and she starts reapplying her makeup, her war paint. I thought that was fucking badass.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
She's all her war makeup is already rubbed off from the battle before, and now all of a sudden it's like time to reapply, put the armor back on. That was fucking sick.
My opinion alone right there. I don't know about you guys, but 5 stars. It's been just rave reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, and we all know from the reviewers, you guys watching, Rotten Tomatoes isn't the most kind reviewers out there. So
Which we love that Rotten Tomatoes
Yes.
is not kind to
Yeah.
people.
yeah. But them seeing that,
This is like the best reviewed movie
Yeah.
of the summer, probably, is this. And again, it's because it keeps it so simple, and it does it really well.
It didn't need
it's
much,
not a
yeah.
complex movie at
No,
all.
you don't need to try
It
to be
is like the
complex
most.
for the
It's
script.
like the simplest plot ever, but it's like it just takes that, and it just rolls with it, and it does everything just how it should be. This is just a grindhouse movie that is just done with a few extra zeros in the budget.
yeah.
But it's by a filmmaker that knows what entertainment is. Like,
Very
knows how to
much.
make a movie that's like, just because you have like a big action movie, like it doesn't necessarily need to have like a really intricate plot or intricate but he knows just the right amount of substance that needs to be put
Oh yeah, the
into it to make it enjoyable.
Beam here came up with something, made me think of something here with the Nux and the redheaded wife. Their love story was strong enough. Not it wasn't a main part. It wasn't a major part of the whole plot development. It really wasn't anything to the plot development, but it was their little love story was strong enough that we didn't need that between Max and Furia or whatever her name was.
Yeah.
And it was just enough. It was just subtle enough that it didn't overpower anything, but it was just strong enough that it was good enough to hold the movie together. You know, because people want to see that. People want all these different aspects, and you kind of need that with most films. And that was just subtle enough.
Yeah.
Which was perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
So yeah, hopefully this movie makes a nice amount of money. We need more R-rated, big budget movies that are geared towards more of an adult audience.
And if you agree with that, if you agree with the fact that we need more R-rated movies in tasteful manner, mind you,
Please like this video then.
not just a bunch of fucking blood and gore.
And tasteful, which is exactly what this movie is. It doesn't overabundance in sex and nudity.
No, there's
and
no
gore.
sex. There's really no nudity. So please, if you went and saw this movie and you agree with the fact that more movies need to be done realistically, tastefully, as rated R films, please so that we can start getting this revolution.
Go see the movie.
And please go see the
Go
movie
see
if
it.
you
Buy the
haven't
DVD
already.
when it comes out. We just need more R-rated movies like this to do it correctly. Right,
Cheers
guys?
to that.
Cheers to that.
Hey, Brian, what are we drinking?
Peter, what are we drinking?
Whoever's willing to pay us.
She is.
We would very much like to thank our buddy from Movie Buddies over here, Andrew Beam. And we would also like
This weird guy we found on the street.
this weird stranger that sometimes looks like Wolverine, Colin Sargent. So until next time, and I don't know what movie is the next movie that
Whatever's coming out next weekend.
Jurassic World, maybe?
whatever movie's coming out next week,
We're
we'll
gonna try to get at least one of these out a week.
we're gonna try. So
Like the video. Like
the video.
like it, watch it, love it, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. No, I'm kidding. I don't have that shit.
He's got Vine.
Well,
He's got
do
Vine,
suck.
so he has a few things.
Woo!
Bye, everybody!